what's up my antioxidant-rich strawberries? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, we're back with another installment of Top 5 Under 10, Secondary Edition. Now, for those of you guys who have absolutely no clue what the hell that is, it's a continuation of a mini-series that I'm doing here on my channel, where we take a look at my top 5 weapons under Mastery Rank 10. Now, last time we actually went ahead and covered primaries, but this time we're going to be taking a look at secondaries. Now, for all of you dedicated players and the veterans out there that are like, I don't give a shit about weapons under Mastery Rank 10, trust me, there are some classics in here and some that y'all probably forgot about, so stick around and stay tuned and share this around with some of the newer players that might be a little bit lower in level. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on in. Alrighty, so just a quick disclaimer, I did want to remind you guys that I will not be covering kit guns or Zaws in any of these top 5 under 10 videos, mainly because of the fact that those are super duper customizable. You can kind of turn them into whatever you like, and depending on the builds, they can perform very, very differently. So that's a whole nother video. Maybe I should make a playlist for it because I've made so many of those in my time. Regardless, let's take a look at our first weapon. Alrighty, so I reached deep in the cuts for this very, very first one. Do you vets out there remember this weapon? Yes, this is the motherfucking Aqua Core. Now, for those of you guys who've never seen this before, this is a Mastery Rank 4 weapon. Yes, I said it. There's nothing crazy on this build. No ribbons, no nothing. This is a Mastery Rank 4 weapon available in the Grineer lab of your clan dojo. Now, I did just mention the fact that, you know, I wasn't using any crazy gimmicks because there are some very interesting gimmick builds that do center around this, which make this weapon a lot more fun than it is, because right now it's kind of basic. It's doing what it does. But I mean, what it does for a Mastery Rank 4 weapon is pretty fucking good, right? In addition to that, its visuals are absolutely gorgeous. Right? It also has that interesting peculiar growth effect to it that just kind of makes enemies swell up and pop like a pimple. But regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at its base stats. So straight out of the gate, you will notice that the biggest features on this are the status chance, which sits at 29%, which is how we actually went ahead and stripped off that armor very, very quickly. It's got a base damage of radiation, and this is where the gimmick starts coming in. As you can see, its critical chance is 3%. But its critical multiplier is 4 times, which I do believe is the highest of all secondaries, if not one of the highest. So a lot of people actually cheat in critical chance via the use of someone like Holo, or you can actually use the Adarza to force critical chance on this as well. So what happens is people will actually sway their build towards the critical multiplier, but not the base critical chance. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this baby. So the base build that I'm using, of course, is a status-based build. I'm not trying to do any tricks, not trying to make anything crazy out of this, but as you can see right here, we are using 3 status elemental mods. One of the things that I did do, though, is I put on pathogen rounds, so we kind of strengthened that corrosive and made it the priority proc for this weapon, which on its own sits at 81%, well, on its own with these status mods, is 81%. So you're going to get a lot of armor stripping from there. However, what you can do is, if you wanted to go ahead and play with the gimmick, is get rid of something like pathogen rounds and then go ahead and toss in your prime target cracker. Right? So once you've got that going, just go ahead and turn on Holo, use his little Covenant action, or get your Adarza. And I'm saying Adarza specifically because it has more of a consistent critical buff. You get it really, really often, and even though it's lower than the Smita, I believe it's like a 60%, but 60% for something with a 16 point fire rate? How do we refer to that? 16 shots per second fire rates? Listen, that's pretty fucking good. So if you guys have not played around with this at its base, it's good. But with the gimmick, it's even more fun. Alrighty, so while we're on the subject of beam weapons, we could not forget about the Aqua Core. This is available in the Corpus Lab of your clan dojo and is Mastery Rank 8. Now, as you saw just a second ago, it's producing a second beam of energy. Every time it kills an enemy within its clip, it'll actually go ahead and spawn one. I think up to a maximum of 4 in total. So you could actually have multiple beams going out and seeking other targets, and it's very much a Symmetra beam. See, once we reload, the extra beam is gone, which makes me very, very sad inside. Now, there is a gimmick to this one too. I should just call this the gimmick series, but no, legitimately, you can use things like Eject Magazine, which I believe is a PvP mod. There's also one called Synth Reflex, which allows you to reload your magazine while this weapon is holstered, because it's only reloading that resets the tendrils effect. So if you really wanted to, you could just do this, holster it, let Synth Reflex go ahead and reload the mag for you, and then go back in with a whole bunch of tendrils with a full mag. Now, let me actually go ahead and show you how this looks like when you're going up against a bunch of enemies at once. So let's grab a bunch of these baby boys. And let's see these tendrils in action. So we can go ahead and reach out and touch these babies right here. But as you can see, they have these seeking tendrils, which just allows you to go ahead and smack so many at once, right? Just a little fondulation. That seems really inappropriate, Rob. You probably should not have said that. But you can use that gimmick to spawn multiple tendrils if you want to. Me, I'm an old man. And I'm very simple. So I just keep it to this. If you really want to go above and beyond, you could go ahead and use that gimmick. Regardless, let's take a look at the base stats. The critical chance is 16% and the critical multiplier is 1.8. It's got a status chance of 24% and its base damage is puncture and a little bit of radiation. So let's take a look at how this baby is built, or at least the way that I currently build it. So we've got all of the basics, and then I did do a hybrid on this where we did a little bit of crits, and then we did some status elemental, a little bit of balance of both, you know what I mean? So that brings us up to 45.9% critical chance and a 3.8 times critical multiplier, and then we have our status chance at 52. Now, I do have to admit, I have a ribbon for this thing, which just makes you feel good in your heart and soul when you're taking a look at 225 damage and 133% multi-shot. This thing is a little bit crazy with all of that, so maybe I should make like a gimmicky build and do this, because you can it just gets roasty toasty, like just it's just a little sad to watch these guys trying to stay alive, you know what I mean? Regardless, this is definitely fun. One of the other things I do want to point out real quick is we talked about beam weapons, and I know there are going to be some people pissed that they did not see the Atmos on here. And I actually went through and I played with it a little bit more, because that was definitely one of the first things on this list. I was like, oh my god, the Atmos. It didn't feel as good as the new core, and it didn't feel as good as the Aqua Core. Now, clearly, the Atmos is really, really great at hitting multiple targets, so you could definitely factor that in. But against a single target, it didn't feel as chunky. But you know what? Listen, Sarin Spores, Atmos, beautiful thing. But then again, Sarin Spores, Aqua Core, beautiful thing. In fact, Sarin Spores with basically anything is a beautiful thing, right? Alright, so this next one is a weapon that I repped for such a long time, and of course, that is the Fusali. Oh my god, and you know what? It's a crime, because legitimately, this weapon got no attention after the whole playing card skin came out from Limbo. This one is a Mastery Rank 7 weapon, and you can pick this one up in the market. In fact, it is the only market available weapon on today's list. But the slash procs that come out of this are absolutely insane, as you can see. And it's also got an alternate fire, which we'll take a look at in a second, but it just absolutely shreds enemies behind their armor, which is always nice. Plus, you get to use the god darned playing card skin, which is so cool. So here's the thing. So it's just normal shot. It's just a standard, I'm throwing cards at you. But you can go ahead and do a fan of cards, as you can see right there. I prefer this version because you can just kind of crank them out ASAP. And it does have a slightly different stat setup, which we'll take a look at in a second. But I think that this is one that has definitely been slept on. And now that we got some cool visuals, we really should be playing around with it a little bit more. So as you can see, its base stats for the auto has a 23% critical chance, and then it's got a 29% status chance. And as you can see right there, down there in its IPS, it's mainly just slash and puncture. Well, it is just slash and puncture, with slash actually leading the way on that one. Now, for the semi-auto, which is the secondary fire, it's only got a 3% critical chance, but it has a 37% status chance. So for me personally, I like just going with the standard auto, mainly because of the fact that it's a little bit more balanced. You do give up a little bit of the status, but you get a good chunk more crit, right? And as you can see right there, that's also slash weighted, right? So let's take a look at how I went ahead and built this and not press the wrong buttons. Oh, it's all going south. But as you can see right here, we are doing another hybrid build where we do crit and we do status. I am running viral on this because this is a slash based weapon. Now, one of the things that I'm too lazy to do, so if you've done this, please let me know in the comments below, is to format this one more time and toss another dash slot in. I'm almost curious to see how it would perform if we pushed MAME on there. Again, I don't have enough spots for it, and to be honest with you, I'm happy with what I got over here so far, so I'm really not trying to experiment that much, but maybe pushing a little bit more slash will get us even more of those procs, which could be even juicier, and you know how I like it, nice and juicy. Alrighty, so this next weapon is tied for the highest mastery rank on our list, and you're probably like, wait, we were just looking at that. No, it's actually a very different weapon. It is the Pox in disguise. We're once again using the playing card skins. And as you can see, this weapon is quite effective at applying a lot of statuses. It leaves a 5-meter gas cloud that lingers for 4 seconds and will deal, the initial tick of damage is going to be the status that is mainly on your weapon, and then everything after that, the lingering damage is actually toxin damage. So you actually see it as procs there, where you'll see a couple ticks of corrosive, then you'll see like some lingering procs of toxin. This pairs extremely well with condition overload, and I do feel kind of bad because, you know, I like having a little squish baby on the list. Last time it was the Hema, now we've got a little pox baby because, you know, who doesn't want to catch a little bit of the pox? Doesn't sound super hygienic, but you know, we all catch a little bit of the space AIDS every now and then, right? Regardless, let's take a look at its base stats. So, as you can see right here, where it really shines is its status chance, sitting at 35%, and its base damage is toxins. So, you know, Corpus, be very, very afraid. But of course, you can gear this towards any enemy type you wish, because Toxin is a really, really good kind of like base element for things to work off of. Now, as you can see, the way that my mods are set up are really, really sloppy. But forgive me for that. We are running with 4 elemental status mods, some corrosive and fire, to be able to push that to its 100% mark. The other thing you will notice is I am using a prime pistol ammo mutation, and regardless of what the screen says, because for some reason the simulacrum gets weird and buggy sometimes, the max ammo on this is only 20. So that can be quite painful. So if you have not checked it out with, let's say, maybe a Sentinel that will go ahead and convert that ammo for you, you can go ahead and use this and still have its performance be pretty freaking good, if I do say so myself. Now, one of the things that I will say is I have a little bit of a ribbon for this. That makes it even more disgusting. So multi-shot and fire rate, which is very nice. You know, it's not the best that it could be, and maybe we should roll it to something a little bit better at some point in time. But you know what? With the way that the Pox works, it's already pretty stinking scary. But it does feel a little bit better to get that fire rate in there and to be able to get more and more stacks. Oh. And the effects on it, that gas cloud effect, I saw some people kind of complaining about the fact that it slowed their frame rate down, but I mean, it's the Pox. It's gonna be a little toxic. For those of you guys who've been watching my videos for a while, I'm almost curious to see if you can guess this last weapon, because legitimately it's been at the top of my favorites for such a long time, year after year after year, and some might be mad because it is a little bit more difficult to get your hands on. However, if the timing is right, at Mastery Rank 9, we have the freaking Mara Detron. This thing is absolutely amazing, and you gotta get it from Barrow Katir, the bad baby himself of Warframe. And this thing is just, you look at it and you're like, your mastery rank 9, are you sure about that? Because you are just all kinds of nasty. And I love me a good old-fashioned secondary hand cannon shotgun. It just feels so freaking good. So as you can see right here, it absolutely just annihilates enemies. I usually don't like weapons that will use blast to kind of like knock enemies down and whatnot, but you know what, in this case, I'm kind of cool with it. I'm okay to roll with it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this baby's stats real quick. So as you can see, we do have a critical chance of 8%, which is not fantastic, but the most important thing about this is the fact that its status chance is 32%. Oh, it feels so freaking good. And its base damage is radiation, and it's got a good chunk of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the build that I currently have for it, which of course is going to be all focused on pumping up that status chance. Now, I do believe I could probably drop... No, gotta have a Scorch on there. I was like, maybe we could drop one of those elemental mods so I don't have to deal with blast, but apparently no, you gotta have all three on to make sure that you do push it past 100%, because you want to make sure that all of your pellets are popping off, right? So again, we're just running a full suite of status elementals, but one of the things that I do want to do is I want to go ahead and drop this off real quick. So bye-bye to Augur Pact. And then we're going to go ahead and put on my ribbon, which is damage, punch through, and fire rates. Oh, it feels so sexy inside. I had to go ahead and invest in a baby like this, because legitimately I've been rocking with this weapon for so long. Oh, that fire. Oh, yes. Oh, it just feels so good. So if you guys have not tried the Mara Detron out before, definitely get your hands on it. Or, you know, try a different version, which is just the standard Detron. But me personally, Mara is definitely the way to go. I like the faster fire rate on it. But, oh, just makes you feel so good on the inside. I don't really have much else to say about this, but let me know, are there any weapons that you guys absolutely stand for, that you've been rocking with for a long time, that are actually low mastery rank weapons? I don't know. Toss that in the comments below. Let me know if there are any weapons that you think that I might have missed in this under 10 lineup. And that's one of the things that I do have to stress, because last time a couple of people were like, but you know, this weapon is absolutely great. I was like, but that is mastery rank 11 and it thus violates our under 10 rule. So toss all of that down in the comments below. Also, in addition, if there are any of these weapons that you forgot about that you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one, let me know about that in the comments as well. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. So as always, my little strawberries, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye-bye.